Do you guys smell that? Do you smell the spring in the air? Spring training is here, baby. Philadelphia Phillies baseball. And we're here to introduce a new member to the Bitterbirds, Tony Del Grosso, a.k.a. Tony D. We call him Tony D.
What?
You guys are going to call him Tony D. I'm going to call him Tony D. Tony Del Grosso is never going to be said again. So, yo, Tony, what's up?
We got Charlie and Schmidt with us. We're all good, guys. We're all good. It's gonna be a rough year, but it's gonna be a fun year. That's for sure.
Oh, hell yeah. So, dude, I'm really proud and happy to have you on the team. Tony's going to join Kyle for our Phillies coverage this year. Kyle right now is in Clearwater. Lucky bastard. So he's catching in all the rays and all the sun. Apparently, though, they've really they've become like the NFL, the No Fun League down there in Clearwater. You can't get autographs anymore, apparently, and they've cut back on the batting practice time.
Wow, I was not aware of that.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's like all pissed about it because he likes to go down there and get his autographs.
Yeah. That's a shame for the kids. But
yeah, well, Kyle isn't a kid. All right, let's get into this show. Spring training, 2017 Phillies. Obviously, a young team that might be on the rise. We'll see what happens this coming season. So let's start with this. Who are the guys that are really, really catching your eye spring training so far?
Well, the one guy everyone's talking about, if you listen to the radio, if you listen or read any of the blogs, it's Brock Stassi.
Yeah.
Stassi. Brock Stassi is 26 years old. He was with the Pigs last year in AAA. And he is tearing the cover off the ball. This spring, he's hitting – his OPS is over 1,000. He has 5 home runs. He's looking good, and he's played almost every game this spring too. The reason I want to caution people about Brock Stassi for a couple of reasons. One, he doesn't really have a true position. He's a below-average defender at both corner outfield positions and at first base. He's also 26, which isn't young. It's not old. Some guys are late bloomers, but he needs to figure it out quick if he's going to figure it out. And 3, in 6 seasons of minor league ball, guy's OPS is 736. That's just not going to cut it. That just simply doesn't translate. People act like he had this amazing year last year, and he did. He had a good year, but his OPS was still only 806. I mean, it's not like he was an MVP candidate or something. He had 26 home runs last year. I just want to pump the brakes on him. I don't think he's a long-term answer really anywhere other than maybe a decent bat off the bench. I think that's what Brock Stassi is. The
26-year-old thing kind of freaks me out a little bit because 27 is when you're supposed to – that's like when once you reach 27, you either have it or you don't. And if you don't have it, you're done.
Yeah.
You're a career minor leaguer. And for him to be 26 already, that is a little concerning.
And the thing about that 26, usually when guys are late bloomers, it's because of circumstances, usually injuries. I mean, look at Jason Worth. Jason Worth didn't become a superstar until he was in his later 20s, but Jason Worth also had a lot of injuries when he was young. Brock Stassi, he's just very, very slowly progressed through the ranks, from low A ball up until, AAA last year. And like I said, if all of a sudden he figured it out, awesome. But I wouldn't hold your breath on that. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about another big power bat from last year, Rhys Hoskins. What are your thoughts on him? Do you like him?
Now, yes, he is a guy that you kind of get excited about. Here's what I would say. If I had a gun to my head and I said, who's the future at first base, Tommy Joseph or Rhys Hoskins, I would pick Hoskins. Hoskins has shown a much, much better eye at the plate. He walks at a much higher rate than Tommy Joseph does, and his power is at least just as good as Joseph, if not better. That doesn't mean I don't like Joseph, but I think Hoskins' ceiling is higher. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
I like Hoskins.
All right, now let's run down some other names that you have liked so far in spring training. You got like a handful of names?
Another guy that especially early in spring training was the talk of a lot of people was Scott Kingery. He was their second round pick out of Arizona, I believe, a couple years ago. His OPS is also over 1,000 this spring. But again, I would pump the brakes on him because he's a guy. Now, this is only in 2 minor league years, but it's also in almost 800 at bats, an OPS of exactly 700. So again, he's hitting the cover off the ball now. He has some speed. He could steal a base. Is he the future at second base? Right now, probably, yeah, because I certainly don't think it's Cesar Hernandez. There's a chance they can move Galvis to second base if Crawford becomes a player they think he's going to become. But I think Kingery's bat definitely has more potential, at least, than Freddie Galvis. So, yeah, he's the future at second base, but it's not necessarily a good thing. Kind of the future by default right now.
Yeah,
but
I hear.
he does have potential. He has a potential to be a solid everyday second baseman. But
Okay.
future all-star, I don't know about that.
Any guys that you think have kind of disappointed? Guys that maybe you had higher expectations for that really aren't producing right now?
Well, one guy I would like to see get more of a shot, and I feel like he's kind of getting a raw deal right now, is Aaron Altair.
Hmm.
Aaron Altair was set to be the everyday right fielder going into last season. Broke his wrist in spring training, and he didn't come back until late August, I believe, and he clearly wasn't healthy. Then they went out and signed Howie Kendrick and Michael Saunders, and now all of a sudden Aaron Altair is the fourth outfielder. I think that could end up being a mistake. Aaron Altair, he's also a guy, I think he's 25 now, so the age is, getting to him. But to me, he's a Jason Worth type. He is actually a rare. He has 5 tools. He doesn't quite have 5 skills yet, but he has the tools to do it, which is really hard to find. He's looked good this spring. I understand that Kendrick and Saunders are trade chips. I just don't. To me, it's there's a fine line because I don't think the prospects that you might get back for a Howie Kendrick or a Michael Saunders is going to be worth Aaron Altair sitting on your bench for 4 months.
Yeah.
If it was up, I would play him every day because I really do think there's something there. I think he has, like, I keep using Jason Worth. I'm not like a Jason Worth guy.
Jason Worth like 3 times already in this show.
That's the kind of player I see that he could potentially be, but he needs to get the at bats. So a disappointment. I mean, I hate really to call anyone a disappointment. It's spring training.
Yeah.
You don't know what guys are working on. So, and it's not like I'm actually there to see them practice every day. So I would say the situation right now is disappointing for Aaron Altair.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about some pitching. Let's
Okay.
talk about Aaron Nola and let's talk about Jared Eichhoff. And you were just saying too with spring training. You got to remember it is spring training, and a lot of the time with these pitchers, they're working on different pitches. They're working on pitches that they might not use in a regular season game. So take that into consideration when you watch them. But from what Kyle has been telling me, because he's been in Clearwater, he's not liking what he's seeing from Aaron Nola, but he loves what he's seeing from Jared Eichhoff.
Nola's been getting hit around. But like you said, you don't know if there's been whole innings where all he's throwing is fastballs. He's working on whatever he's working on. Mm-hmm. He's still probably getting his arm strength up. It is concerning though because since they shut him down last year, he's obviously hasn't been the same since, and they would like to see him regain that form. I know there is some chatter that people don't like to talk about, but is his elbow okay? His delivery certainly makes it seem like it's he's going to need Tommy John one of these years. His motion just puts a lot of strain on that elbow.
Oh yeah, you can see it whip.
Is there something there we don't know? That's possible, but I wouldn't be concerned unless let's see his first couple outings in April. If he looks awful, then it might be time to be concerned. But I'm not concerned yet.
Yeah,
Eichhoff, I mean, hey, he was the most consistent guy all last year. Frankly, there's no reason to think he won't be the most consistent guy again this year. Hellickson is the veteran, but Eichhoff has better stuff than Hellickson. Um, in the rotation, at least, Vinny Velasquez still has the highest ceiling of any guy that's
I agree
on
with that.
the 5-man roster. But his consistency still isn't, close to what it needs to be. Neither his command. But we saw what he could do in April and May last year. He struck out 19 against San Diego, I think it was. I mean, there was a.
What was it, 17, 19, 18? I think it was 17.
It was a.
Might
Okay,
have been
maybe
9.
17.
Might have been 9. I don't know. I'll look it up.
I think it was probably. Yeah. Now again, San Diego is running out a 4-18, but
yeah,
you showed potential. You saw the potential there. The Phillies, I wouldn't. I would say Velasquez is the only guy, at least higher than AA that they have that actually has ace kind of potential.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still a long way from that. I think even Aaron Nola at his highest ceiling is probably still more like a 2 or 3. Eichhoff is probably more like a 3. I mean, Hellickson, certainly isn't part of the future. But they do have some guys like Pinto and the low minors that have the potential to be an ace, so to speak.
Yeah. All right. Let's just really quickly on Velasquez. I wanted to get into this because some people actually think that he would be better off as a closer because he's basically strictly throwing fastballs right now. He doesn't really have secondary stuff. At least it's being worked on. Now, for me, it's like I think he can develop some secondary pitches. I think he is more of a starter than a back of the end bullpen closer type. I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Let me put it this way: if the Phillies were trying to win the most amount of games they possibly could this upcoming year, then yeah, he would be most valuable as a closer. He would be a dominant closer right now. His fastball when it's on, especially if he just unleashes it in one inning, is very good. And yeah, his off-speed pitches are below average right now. But looking at it long term, no, I definitely want to see him be a starter. With that said, I will say that relievers are being used a lot differently anymore, and I'm not sure how far into the future, so to speak, McCannon and the Phillies and Clintack want to go. But if you look at teams, you look at what Joe Madden has done in the past. I think with Tampa Bay did a little bit this year, where relievers are becoming almost more important than the starters in some cases. If you could have a reliever go 3-4 innings, every few days, in some situations that's more valuable than a starter because it's all about the high leverage situations that they're put in. But again, that's down the line. If I'm the Phillies, I'm keeping him as a starter for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I would keep him as a starter as well. And to go, piggyback on your point, Joe Madden, what does he call that? Like the fire extinguisher, right? Like he'll bring the guy in the 8th inning. He's bringing in his best guy. The toughest situation that you're in, he's going to put him in. And we saw it even with Cleveland this past postseason with Miller.
Look at what Terry Francona did in the World Series last year. He was often bringing in Andrew Miller, their best guy, in the 4th, 5th inning. Because if they deem that the most important situation in that game, hey, then you want your best guy on the mound. And I hate to admit it, but Francona was usually right on the money this past World Series too. I know Francona is a bit of a taboo guy to talk about in Philly, but he pushed all the right buttons that World Series last year. He did. I mean, they didn't win, but it wasn't his fault.
There's some bias with me in Francona because I went to high school with his daughter, Alyssa. I knew about Terry Francona before he was a nobody. He coached an intramural basketball league when I was like 10 years old, and his kid Nick Francona stunk.
Really? He's gonna be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, what he did with Boston, that gave him an automatic ticket.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So,
All right, moving on. Just yeah, this actually this show's going longer than I thought it would. Let's go to okay. Maybe we'll save Odubel Herrera for another show because I feel like we can talk about him for a while.
Yeah, there's talk about considering he was in the WBC for the past few weeks anyway.
Yeah. Now, something I want to talk about right now because this is something you want to bring up. Thoughts about this city and not really getting into baseball. It's interesting, and you have some solid points, and even just thinking back right now, because we're having that discussion pre-show, like the Sixers right now are selling out, right? I mean, obviously they have a big name star in Joel Embiid, but it's like the city is getting behind that team, which is worse than the Phillies right now. But the Phillies, they're not getting any love. What's up with that?
I kind of think what's going on in Philly in terms of pro baseball is a microcosm of what's going on in the whole country. Generally speaking, the average baseball fan, if their team isn't good, they check out a little bit.
Yeah.
And the Phillies haven't been good in a few years, and a lot of the casual fans have checked out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to get into the whole marketing thing now?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Do your thing.
I've for the past few years, really, I've been saying I think Major League Baseball is missing an absolutely golden opportunity to market some really incredible young talent. I'm going to go through some guys here. Mike Trout, 25. Bryce Harper, 24. Carlos Correa, 22. Corey Seager, 22. Francisco Lindor, 23. Jose Altuve, 26. Giancarlo Stanton, 27. Manny Machado, 24. Addison Russell, 23. Mookie Betts, 24. And I'll even throw in two pitchers. Kershaw still only 29. Bumgarner still only 27. I just named, I don't know, a dozen guys there. I would guarantee you at least 3 or 4 of them end up in the Hall of Fame one day.
You could even say
all those.
You can say more because like it seems like Trout and Harper are given already.
Right. I think that's a conservative number. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if half of them, more than half of them, end up in the Hall of Fame. They all have that kind of talent. Mm-hmm. I think it's an absolute shame. I was telling you earlier. I think the average 8 to 10-year-old kid right now knows more NFL draft prospects than they do those guys I just mentioned, and I think that's a shame. Major League Baseball has done a horrible, horrible, horrible job marketing those guys. Really forever. Baseball's always kind of prided itself and survived on being kind of that local thing. You know, like I said, when their team, you know, when the local team's doing good, the city rallies behind it.
Yep.
You know, but it's falling by the wayside now because the NFL is a 52-week league, and NBA is just about following suit. Baseball isn't close to that right now. Baseball falls off the face of the earth during the winter. And Rob Manfred, he needs to figure that out. He needs to do something about that. And I think, you know, the pace of play stuff is going to help. But the stuff they're doing with the pace of play really is a fugazi. I mean, it's going to help a couple minutes a game. The elephant in the room with the whole pace of play thing, and I'm not going to get into more than this, is the fact that the average game today, there's probably I don't have the stats in front of me, but I guarantee you there's 3 times the amount of pitching changes as there was.
Oh, they're definitely
30, 40.
Absolutely.
And I mean that's what's slowing the game down. It's not because these guys are stepping out of the box. It's not because they're slow to get on and off the field. No, that's all. It's all fugazi. It's the number of pitching changes. If they ever were able to put a limit on that, it'd be really hard for the union to accept that. Because that would mean taking jobs away from specialists and whatnot. But that would, to me, that's really the only way they're going to truly shorten the game up. But there are other ways, and I don't want to get into that now.
Maybe that could be a show though for down the line. We could get into some stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm a historian. I'm a baseball historian. I'm a sports historian in general. I have like a lot of games that I have on hard like external hard drives, whether it's football, whatever. And you watch. I literally have the 1969 World Series on my hard drive, and like all the games. And like you watch Bob Gibson pitch. Or no, actually, it was 1967 World Series. I think the one Cardinals won. Cardinals won it. I think. All right. So Bob Gibson, he gets the ball and he throws it. There's no rubbing the arm. There's no grabbing the cock. There's no clipping at the hair or stomping on the mound. He's picking up the ball and he's throwing it. We don't see that shit no more. Everyone's got to go through their routine.
And that's part of the problem. But I don't know. Baseball. I mean, they definitely do need to shorten the games. It is an issue. But I also, I'm starting to think it's kind of an issue in football anymore too. Some of these NFL games are getting ridiculously long. How many penalties there are? So I think it's also just kind of a reflection on our society in general. Our attention spans are just getting shorter and shorter and shorter.
I agree, because baseball was number one 50 years ago. Number one.
Yeah.
And
baseball
now
was number one for a long.
And now it's like what? Like, is it even more popular than basketball now?
I would say baseball is a solid 3. And depending on where you are, it's more popular than basketball. But it's definitely behind football.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm a basketball guy, so I'm gonna like basketball more than baseball. But it does seem like it's less and less interest each and every season.
Yeah. It's gaining popularity in some countries that didn't even really think at all about baseball 20, 30 years ago. I mean, the Australian Baseball League is actually starting to even the Italian Baseball League has had a couple guys here and there. So, and obviously all the the teams in South America and the Caribbean and stuff. Some of those countries are just machines. I mean, Dominican Republic has probably 20% of the All-Stars last year were probably Dominican. I don't know what the exact number is, but off the top of my head, I mean, they're just incredible talent for such a small island. They just
like they're like this, and the United States is this, and
like the per capita baseball players they produce is just like absurd.
All right. What did you want to talk about the World Baseball Classic? Was that Herrera you wanted to tie in, or did you want to talk about something else?
Really, it actually just kind of tied into the whole marketing thing.
Oh, okay.
Because I think Adrian Gonzalez said it best. The first baseman for the Dodgers. I don't know if you saw his quote, and this was maybe a week or two ago. He said, "World Baseball Classic is trying to be like the World Cup of baseball, but it's not even the Little League World Series right now."
Yeah.
I think that hits it on the head. But to me, the main reason is because of access. It's on fucking MLB Network.
Yeah.
How many people have MLB Network? Not many. And I do because I'm a baseball junkie. But, like I said, the average 8 to 10-year-old kid, he doesn't have MLB Network, and he's not going to go on his laptop and try to stream, Japan versus Puerto Rico tonight. Now, I would because I'm crazy and I'm nuts and I'm just weird like that. But the average baseball fan isn't. And it just goes back to my whole thing of baseball has a golden opportunity that they are just wasting right now with all this young talent. And also, the World Baseball Classic is a great showcase for that young talent because a lot of it is international. A lot of those guys aren't American.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. The World Baseball Classic, I think Puerto Rico is going to win. I think Japan will probably win tonight, beat U.S. I just the one thing I kind of have that's funny to me is some of these teams, and I get it because they need enough teams, but like Team Israel, it just seemed like they needed to know someone that was in a synagogue at one point in their life, and that qualified them. Like Team Italy, your name just had to end in a vowel, and that qualified you. Like some of these teams, it's like, but I understand. I mean, it's the same way in international soccer. I mean, half the coaches in international soccer are from different countries and whatnot. So, it makes it a little kind of not authentic, but most of the teams are, so that's okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't watched much of it, but the one game I watched at Marlins Park, I thought I was watching a Marlins game. There was no one in the stands.
Yeah.
Like nobody's going to these games.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And I get it, and also look at Team USA. We don't have our best stars. We don't have Trout. We don't have Harper. We don't have Kershaw.
Yeah.
But most of the other countries, I mean, they have their big stars. So it kind of shows you. I mean, I guarantee you, countries in the Caribbean are watching these games every night. I guarantee you, they're finding a way to watch it.
Absolutely, I agree.
In the USA, it's just it's whatever.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you. All right, so that about wraps it up here. You got anything else you want to say before we depart?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, great opening show from Tony D, new member here of the Bitter Birds, and like I said before, really excited to have you on, man. You and Kyle are gonna bring it. I know you guys are baseball junkies, so the Bitter Birds. Yeah, I know. Yeah, go ahead. You're looking forward to it.
No, that's it. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm excited to do the next one.
Yeah,
and, I'm happy to help.
There's a reason why the Bitter Birds are the best in the business.
And I'll have Charlie and Schmitty with us for every show for aesthetics.
I love that artwork, dude. I told you that before. That's fucking sick, dude. Like I won't. I'm going to your house in Bethlehem and I'm stealing it. Taking it from your room. All right, so there it is. All right, that is Tony D. His first show. We popped his cherry. My name is Adrian Fenku. This was not my first show. It's been, I don't know, hundreds of these, I guess, already. So that's it for today. Tony D. I'm Adrian Fenku. We're out. Peace.
Have a good one.